17, please.
An ordinance appropriating $744,502 available in the general capital fund balance to provide for improvements to Cornine Field, referred to herein by and for the Township of Morris.
If anyone from the public would like to come and speak on 25-17, I would invite them to do so.
And I think you can release Mr. Ware.
Excuse me, Mr. Gold. Mr. Laird, thank you very much for
Mr. Laird.
appreciate it.
Take care.
Mr. Goldberg.
Lee Goldberg, 10 Arrowhead Road. Regarding the funding for the Cornine Field work, it's saying here on the agenda that it's coming from the General Capital Fund. I do recall at prior meetings, there was talk that it would be coming from the Open Space Fund. Was money moved from Open Space to this General Capital Fund to fund it, or was there a change in direction on how this was going to be funded?
No to both.
No to both, okay, so.
Well, it's easy. This funding here is the general capital fund. As you know, the Township Committee has always been very prudent for fiscal responsibility. But when we incur debt, each year we're only going to raise up in equal amount the debt to be retired. Back in 2011, the Township Committee funded about 2/3 of the cost for Cornine Field, and we began the project with doing the survey work, the test boreholes, everything else getting ready to go for that, and anticipating funding it in the following year when we retire some more debt. As you're aware that we had a methane issue, we had to work that out with DEP, and we've been working with DEP and our consulting engineers over the last 6 years, and we finally come to a resolution where we can, ameliorate the methane issue with a passive vent system and put the field on it. We are ready to move forward on that. What the Township has always been doing over the last 6 years is that projects that were previously bonded and going out there as they've been completed, and there's funds that are left over, it goes back into the general capital. And so that was where that money is coming from. Basically, we're now be able to move forward to complete this project without raising any additional debt or taking any funds from the Open Space Trust Fund to complete this project. So this is all just kind of scrimping and saving over the last 6 years of putting money away from completed projects that go back into the capital fund balance, and then having that money available so that we can complete, as I said, complete this project without taking any money or raising taxes or raising the amount of money that we get each year in debt service.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. So to go back to my original question, I know I stood up here and asked questions about the money coming out of the Open Space Fund and how I didn't think that that was an appropriate use of those funds. So I know at one point in time the open space tax usage for this project was in consideration in play. Is that now no longer the case? Because
We don't have to use any of that
you
money.
don't have to use any of it.
Right. We don't have to use any of that money, nor do we have to go out to debt, or do we have to raise any more capital through debt service to pay for this project.
Okay, so I guess my question, what changed in the last 3 months that altered the financial planning for such?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
No, that money that we, Township Committee appropriated a couple months ago out of the Open Space Fund
Right.
is going to be used as part of the remediation of the fields.
Oh, it is going to be used?
Yes, it's part of the entire project.
What percentage of the open space funds would you roughly, of this $750,000 is coming out of the open space fund?
There's no money coming out of the Open Space money at $750,000.
Okay. So maybe I'm just not understanding, clearly I'm not understanding what you're saying. So
If the money that's being appropriated tonight
right,
is money that the Township Committee has been, through their going back to us, that we have to save this money. These are all projects that have been completed in the past,
right,
that were previously funded through bonds, where we're going out to bond for them.
okay,
Such as if we have $1 million project and we spend $900,000, $100,000 goes back into the capital fund balance.
right.
We have to use that for other projects. It's already been funded through bonds. We don't just cancel it out. So it comes back into this capital fund. And that's where that money, that's where the money is that's being appropriated tonight.
For
So
today.
for tonight. So that's, money's been saved over the last 6 years.
So this money is in addition to the open space fund funded money?
Correct.
That's being used. do you recall the dollar amount for the open space?
475.
So the whole project itself, for minus the work that's already been done back in 2011-12, that's on the table now to finish the project is roughly
With the passive vent system, it's going to be just over $2 million.
just over $2 million.
Correct.
Okay. And I'm sorry to beat a dead horse on this, could you just explain to me again the logic why the use of the open space money is appropriate for this? Is it because it's a field itself, even the work that's going on underground? And
It's part of our open space inventory. Township committee we are authorized to use 15% at the end of the year's balance towards improvements on open space projects. We are improving this open space project.
And when is that slated to be completed?
Well, hopefully we're going to be going out to bid on the project, and we're hopefully that this field will be up and operational by the end of next summer.
Okay, thank you.
Move we close the public portion, Mr. Mayor, on 2517?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there a motion for 2517?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Caffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Mancuso?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mayor Sisson?
Yes, I, Bruce D. Sisler, Mayor, declare the ordinance adopted and finally passed, approve the same, and direct that the clerk publish proper notice thereof in the newspaper and to record the ordinance in its proper place.